In the middle of a highland in the uninhabited area of northern Tibet, there lies a huge ice field with an average altitude of more than 6,000 meters. The temperature here in winter drops to minus 40 degrees Celsius, with extreme lack of oxygen, strong winds, and biting cold. Only a few of the most tenacious lives can make their home here. There are more than 40,000 glaciers on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, which is the area with the most mountain glaciers in the world. The Puruogangri ice field is located in the center of the plateau and is one of the highest protrusions in the uninhabited area of northern Tibet. From a distance, the white glacier is piled up on the mountains. Its top is flat, with a total area of 423 square kilometers. More than 50 huge ice strips extend from the edge. There are almost 10 level gales in winter. However, at the end of the ice strip, there is a magical plant waiting for the opportunity to revive. The cushion-shaped ground plum is the pioneer closest to the glacier. It has strong vitality. The whole plant clings to the rock like a blanket. Although the branches and leaves are yellow, the low and dense structure provides excellent protection during the dormant period. In early winter, the cushion-shaped ground plum has become the most important life-saving food for Tibetan antelopes. However, as the cold weather intensifies, herds of Tibetan antelopes have to choose to leave and go to valleys with lower altitudes. A wild yak with a shoulder height of nearly 2 meters, licking the wormwood in the wind and snow. What's more amazing is that in recent years, due to the increase in the number of populations, the time they stay on the ice field has become longer and longer. Like Tibetan antelopes, wild yaks also prefer to live in groups. This bull that has left the group is extremely dangerous in such a cruel environment. The temperature under the ice field has dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius. At an altitude of more than 5,000 meters, severe cold and lack of oxygen are fatal. The lone wild yak has to try to spend the winter alone under the ice field. Few animals can endure the severe winter of Puruogangri ice field alone. The average annual temperature here is less than minus 3 degrees Celsius, and it is shrouded in winter for half a year. The wind speed on the ice field can reach 150 kilometers per hour, and even the surrounding temperature will be lowered to minus 40 degrees or even lower. The huge ice field is cold and solemn, and it cannot be ignored. Soon after, in the frozen river valley, the lone wild yak fell into a desperate situation. It lost its companions and was defeated by cold and hunger in just 1 month. It was unable to get up. On the west side of the ice field, a hot spring is particularly eye-catching. In the early morning, the diffuse hot air will scatter pieces of ice flowers on the shore. They use moss as roots, condense and grow in layers, white and fragile. And large areas of dwarf wormwood are also wrapped in frost. Around the ice field, there are at least 4 hot spring rivers, which are not only important water sources for overwintering animals, but also witnesses of ancient volcanic activities. Looking down from the sky, the ice field is undulating under the support of the mountains, complete and huge. After the strong wind, all the fallen snow was blown into the gully, and the ice belt with a width of more than 800 meters spread downward, unstoppable. In the southwest corner, a black peak stands out. The stone of the mountain is as hard as iron, and there is a peach heart made of ice and snow on it. On the other side, the ice belt extending downward gradually breaks and breaks, and icebergs and ice walls stand alone. This is a journey through time to feel the magic of glaciers. Millions of years of time and space are superimposed and condensed here, and 1,000 years is not enough to describe at a glance. The glacier, formed by the squeeze and crystallization of snow particles, is eroded by meltwater here, cutting into wide grooves and caves. In summer, meltwaters still carve a series of huge spiral channels in a complete ice body. The channel is 4 meters wide and 8 meters high. Although the ancient and pure blue ice is tens of millions of years old, it is still shining. If there is a Guanghan Palace in the world, this may be regarded as a copy of it. At the end of the glacier, the huge cross-section is as high as 100 meters, and the ice wall with clear texture is like a heavenly book condensed by time. Almost all the environmental information in the process of glacier formation is hidden in it. It is less than 200 kilometers away from the source of the Yangtze River, but because it is located in an uninhabited area with a harsh environment, it was not until 1999 that Chinese scientists were able to arrive here to confirm it for the first time. Here, every step means refreshing cognition. In September 1999, until the moment they set foot on the ice field, Chinese scientists truly realized that this was the largest and most extreme ice field in the world's low and middle latitude regions. The average altitude is more than 6,000 meters, and there is a flat area in the middle, east and south. The total area of the ice field is as high as 423 square kilometers. When measured on the spot, the thickness of the ice field exceeded the limit of the thickness gauge. They estimated that the thickest part of the ice field should be more than 400 meters. However, the indestructible ice field also has a fragile side. At noon in summer, when the temperature rises above 0 degrees, the meltwater of ice and snow quickly converges into a river. This is a rare good time to see flowing water in a day. At this moment, the cushion-shaped ground plum on the flowing stone beach has quickly put on new clothes. Small flowers emerge from the branches, enjoying the rare warmth. The highest temperature here in summer is only about 10 degrees Celsius, and the ground plum can only grow 1 centimeter around at most in a year. The opportunity to grow is fleeting. It takes at least 50 years to grow to this size. In the Puruogangri ice field, the cold winter lasts for 9 months. Not everyone can wait until the day when spring comes. Once injured or a companion is lost, life and death are just a matter of thought. Under the radiation of the cold ice field, the temperature at high altitudes is obviously much lower. The flowering period of the ground plum here is delayed, but they are like super strong magnets, attracting flies and moths to the tiny stamens, scrambling for them and focusing on them. Their urgent secret will soon be revealed. The summer in Purogangri is not only short, but the weather changes at any time. The powerful cooling effect of the ice field will cause the cold and warm air currents to interact violently, and the moisture will quickly turn into rain and hail from the sky. The ground plum also ushered in the expected rain. Marmots are also troubled by hail. Marmots are also known as sleeping animals. They hibernate for 8 months a year. At this moment, it seemed to be still hesitating. Was it really necessary to brave the hail to find food? Encouraged by his companions, he finally rushed out. It seems that demonstration and encouragement are still very effective. The towering Puruogangri Glacier is like a huge wind turbine, sucking a lot of water vapor into the depths of the glacier. Soon, the melted snow water merged into a torrent, flowing down into the river channel and on the west side of the glacier, forming a 25-kilometer wide braided quicksand river. The quicksand river flows westward into the lowlands, and Nagqu Lake is its endpoint. When Nagqu Lake was first discovered in 1999, the lake area was only 106 square kilometers. Now, due to the increase in rainfall and meltwater, the lake's surface has increased by 30 square kilometers. The warm summer is the time to revive vitality. The Tibetan antelopes that evacuated the Purogangri Glacier have returned in groups. And the wild yaks have also returned to their homes in groups. After observation, it was found that the number of Tibetan antelopes and wild yaks has been increasing almost every year in recent years, and the number of species active around the glacier has also increased. In the nearby valley, brown bears that have ended their hibernation have also come out with their cubs. There are 3 families of big and small, with at least 10 brown bears. Their sudden appearance seems to have turned the entire valley into a bear paradise. Tibetan pikas are small and round. In summer, as long as the weather permits, the whole family will go out to the grassland to forage for food and play. The hungry brown bear brothers set their sights on the pika. But their luck was too bad. The delicious food that was so close to them slipped away. The pika's caves are equipped with multiple entrances, and the internal tunnels are interconnected. They often go more than 50 centimeters underground, reaching the permafrost. However, no matter how big the problem is, it can't stop the brown bear's determination. This time, he turned into an excavator and dug hard, and finally got what he wanted. The magic of Purogangri is not limited to this. On the west side of the ice field, there are typical sand hills. This is the highest desert in the world. On the east side of the Quicksand River, there are huge crescent-shaped sand dunes that extend all the way to the foot of the ice field. The rainwater blocked by the sand dunes will also form ponds, which are next to the crescent-shaped sand dunes, just like drops of blue tears. The open area where the sand dunes are located is actually the quicksand river formed by the repeated erosion of glacial meltwater. September, as the weather turns colder and drier, a new show is about to be staged on the Lusha River. This is the highlight of almost every noon after summer. The Tibetan wild donkeys and Tibetan antelopes playing and foraging here are about to witness a magical moment. At noon, the wind gradually becomes stronger and layers of fine sand, transforming into layers of desert, flow rapidly along the surface. They drift from the low Nagqu lake to the ice field, forming a huge sand flow of 400 square kilometers between the lake and the ice field. The mud and sand that was washed to the lakeside by the melting snow in the summer was blown back to the ice field by the strong wind, a wonderful cycle, repeating over and over again. In October, the temperature dropped rapidly. The Nagqu Lake froze again. The Purogangri ice field once again returned to the cold mode. The main peak of Haiba, 6,482 meters, exuded a chilling cold, officially announced the arrival of the cold winter. After a short summer, the wild yaks also started to move again. They will cross the mountains and move to lower places one after another to avoid the deadly threat of the ice field.